everybody. How's everyone doing? I want to just invite you to reflect on who you see as a leader in your life and what makes that person a leader for you in your life. And maybe it's somebody who you look up to as a role model kind of in all areas, or maybe it's more in one area like entrepreneurship, like a coach that you'd love to have a business that ran similar to his or hers. Or maybe it's a role model like in a family member and just in motherhood or in another area of your life. And as you reflect on that and who have been the true leaders for you in your life, what are the commonalities that you see or the traits that you see within these different people? Because likely you can identify more than one person who has either demonstrated leadership in some way or has been a leader for you or a guide or a mentor in some way. When you look at the research on leadership, there's 5 common leadership styles that you'll often see. And frankly, I don't really align with any of them, but I'll just go over them really briefly in case you guys are curious. And to be able to discern the difference between embodied feminine leadership, which is what I teach inside of my membership, Empath Leaders, versus some of these more masculine kind of types of leadership and the leadership that we have also often seen in the world. And part of the reason I'm bringing this up today is not only is the membership open for enrollment, but I also think that we lack true leadership in the world, on this planet, in our society, quite a bit. And I see this area of opportunity, this window that is opening, that all of us as empaths, starseeds, light beings, people who identify as highly sensitive and have this really powerful journey and powerful ability to sense and feel other people in this world and to pick up on the more subtle energies and to listen with our entire body, our entire being. I think this group of people, yourself and myself included, I think we get to rise into that gap. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us in that gap. Yet what I see and what I identify with myself is that I'm an introvert. And I border a little bit on the official test between introvert and extrovert, but I am more introvert. What are you guys? Introvert, extroverted, empath? Let me know. And the idea of leadership, sometimes the image of literally on a stage and I have to be seen by all of these people. And my voice has to be heard by all of these people. And my little introvert heart gets a little nervous about that. How do you guys feel about it? Yet I can remember going back to soccer and as far back as middle school and sophomore year of high school, I won a leadership award. I've always been drawn towards whether it's like captain or some role on a team or going to this leadership conference with other sophomores in high school from the whole state of Michigan and going together for this very nerdy, it was like a 3-night overnight camp where we went and we listened to these seminars and lectures on how to be a leader and how to be in your power. So I noticed that throughout my life, there's been these themes of wanting to step into that role, even though it's felt scary, even though I don't always want to be seen, even though in the past I had horrible cystic acne, eczema, melasma, vitiligo, skin issues that like the last thing I wanted to do was put my face out there, whether virtually or in person, anywhere. All I wanted to do was hide and to hibernate and to not have to put layers and layers of makeup on, and I never wanted to be seen. But there's a duality in there, like that, and there was still this like tickle in my heart, this revving of my fire that was like, no, Sarah, you have something to say. And at many times I didn't know what it was I had to say. I just knew I had something to say. And so I started to lean in. I started to lean in and realize that the leadership that has been modeled to us is not the leadership that I necessarily want to embody or that I want to teach as a coach and a leader myself. So I told you I was going to tell you what those 5 common leadership styles are, just as a frame of reference and some comparison. The first is authoritarian leadership, and this is a one-person show. This is, I'm the leader, what I say goes. The second is participative leadership, and this involves team members in the decision-making process, but let's say you took a vote, the leader would still have the final say on what gets done or what decision is really made, even though the input is listened to or maybe voted on within the whole group. Then there's also delegative leadership. And that focuses on delegating the end goal, the initiative to the team members. So everyone's kind of like working on their different part of the end goal. But the leader is still the person who is saying, you do this, you do that, and then together we'll like meet the goal. The fourth style or common style is transactional leadership, and this uses transactions between the leader and his or her followers. So these are things like rewards or punishments or like monetary incentives to get the job done, whatever that goal is of a team. The transactional leader is going to say, if you do that, you get 5 stickers, or if you do this, you're going to get a bonus at the end of the year. And it's very transactional. It depends on that incentive. And the fifth and final common leadership style is transformational leadership, which I will say like I identify with most, but still doesn't totally land with me. And this is a leader who guides and leads and mentors through inspiration. So they hold the big vision for their people, their community, their followers, and they encourage those people to take action and to buy into the big vision in order to achieve it as a group. None of them totally land for me. Do they land for you? If so, which one does the most? I'm going to guess probably transformational leadership, but that still didn't quite sit. And again, I've been drawn to these leadership opportunities and conferences, and I went to Washington, D.C. as like a junior in high school to go to, again, another nerdy conference, and it was the National Leadership Conference. That's what it was called. And all these kids from around the United States came together, and we had like more seminars and trainings, and there was just something in me that was so drawn to this, yet didn't vibe with how it was being taught. And I couldn't totally identify that as like a 14, 15, or 16-year-old, but I just turned 33 yesterday, and it's becoming more obvious what does resonate. And the leaders that I look up to, what does stand out? I asked you guys this question in the beginning in case you're just hopping on. Who are the leaders in your life, and what are the common themes or traits that you see amongst them? And as I asked myself that same question, I started to notice that when you put all those things together that I identified as leadership traits and skills in these people, they weren't authoritarian, they weren't transactional, they weren't participative, they were a kind of this whole other category. And that category is one that I have identified or labeled myself as embodied feminine leadership. Embodied feminine leadership. And what I see as a theme within embodied feminine leadership is it's not just about the doing. It's not telling people what to do, and it's also not just doing it all on your own. It is, or making all the decisions like that one-man show authoritative style. Instead, it's less about the doing and more about the being. That's where the word embodied comes in. Embodied is being in your body, being the living, breathing example of, and a lot of that comes into the like kind of role model style as well. But it's also inviting other people outside of just yourself to be in their leadership, and to be in their power, and to be in their truth, and to be in their intuition and their creativity and their own unique message, not just your message and what you have to preach to the world, but their unique code, their unique frequency that they're meant to share on this planet and spread across the world. So it focuses more on the being than the doing. It's more self-led than anyone ever telling you what to do or saying there's one way to do something. So instead of saying, here's our rules and our laws and you must abide by them and this is what's right and this is what's wrong, you get to make your own choices and your own decisions. And through that process, we're also going to reflect on like shadow work and limiting beliefs to see where in your decision making are you holding yourself back based on subconscious programming, so that you can step into this self-guided, self-led leadership in a way that is unrestrained and allowing you to really see your full potential and your full power. The other thing that's common in embodied feminine leadership is that there's no one has the last word, like participative leadership where everyone gets to vote, but then somebody, the leader, still has the last word. That's not the case. And instead, the dialogue is ever going, and there's not one right or wrong choice or one right or wrong decision. And instead, we operate based on bio-individuality, and that every person, what's right for me may be wrong for you, and wrong for you might be right for me. And so we have to discern that. And the way to discern that is by knowing yourself and being in your body and practicing embodiment and opening up your amazing empath senses. So that was what we did today inside of the membership, was a self-sensory guided experience that included Kriya and some self-touch and meditation, and also some channeling that allowed everyone inside of the membership to get inside their body, which during the world right now, a lot of us are avoiding because there's so much. There's so fucking much. And so it's a lot to hold and a lot to carry, and it's a lot to bear on your own. And inside this community, you don't have to. We come together, you carve out time to focus on yourself, to be in your body, and to work through some of these things that may be holding you back from making the best decisions for yourself, or that are more towards like the escapism habit versus the being present in your body pattern. So it's very different. I hope you guys can sense that. You can get that based on the 5 types I just told you about, and this newer type that at least I practice, embodied feminine leadership, because it's not about me having all the answers. Inside of the membership, I am not an authority, and instead it's a community, and I'm never going to tell anyone what to do. And instead we come together and we're all working on our own individual path. We don't all have the same goal. There's overlaps for sure, but my life purpose and dharma is different than yours. But we can come together and we can support each other in that, and then go out and take action in our own unique, aligned way. So it's not about listening to me, it's about listening to yourself. And it's totally different than the leadership style that I was taught growing up and all these damn conferences I went to, because again, I knew I was drawn to this, but I didn't know how to find exactly what I was looking for. And because I couldn't find what I was looking for, I created it. And it draws on many of my teachers and many of the role models and leaders that I've had in my life as well. This community is for the empath leaders, rising, current, future, wherever you are in that journey, it's okay. But if you identify with having a passion and a purpose and a message to share with the world, then you are an empath leader, and this group is for you. It is an opportunity to step into your power and to feel community like you have not felt community before. The group is truly incredible. There are tears on almost every single call, but they're beautiful tears. They're releasing tears. They're layers being shed from this person's being that have been held onto for so damn long. It's liberating as fuck to be the guide on these calls and to be able to witness this. It is humbling. It is such an honor. And it's accessible for all of you. So right now until tomorrow, we have discounted rates regardless of what commitment you choose. You can come in with a 0-month commitment and still get a discount on your first month. There's also 3-month, 6-month, and 1-month commitments. Regardless, the invitation is here. It's there for you. It's available. The door is open, but only until tomorrow night. And then we close it. And we close it because I like the door to close so that we can really get to know each other and we can build community instead of constantly having a trickle of people come in. So this is this new wave. The doors haven't been open since August. And on each new wave, there's new energy that comes in. And you get to decide how long it's meant for you to stay inside the group. And maybe 1 month, it may be 5 years, I don't know. But it's my favorite place to show up, and I'd be so honored to hold space for you inside of this container. If you want all the details, then I'm going to trust you can read them on the sales page on the website. I'll drop a link below. Today, I really wanted to just give you a better idea of what we teach and what we stand for and what's important inside of this group versus just that you get a healing session and a breathwork session and all those other details, because you can read that. But I want you to feel the energy that I bring to the calls, and I hope that you'll say yes, so you can feel the energy of the entire group, which is like this times 100 when we're all together. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat box below. Again, the cart closes tomorrow night, and there's discounted rates for all the different levels that you might want to join at. Have a good evening.